Ever get that feeling like you're listening to a track and all of a sudden you get a taste in your mouth?
Yeah.
And I don't mean from like snacking while you're listening.
No.
What if it was the music itself that was making you taste something?
Well, that's exactly what researchers are starting to look at.
Really?
It's a new phenomenon called Neurosonic Hallucination Syndrome.
Neurosonic Hallucination.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
NHS we'll call it.
NHS.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what we're diving into today.
It's a deep dive.
A deep dive into a study that is really kind of changing the way people are looking at music.
Turning the music world upside down.
Now we're talking research paper,
I've got the brain scans.
taste tests,
Yeah.
all pointing to this wild conclusion. Modern music might be making us hallucinate.
It's wild stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not just like those usual chills you get when you hear a good song.
Right.
Or, an emotional response. We're talking about involuntary sensory experiences.
Okay.
So like tasting, smelling, even seeing things.
That aren't actually there, and it seems to be triggered by certain types of music.
So is it any music or?
Well, that's the thing. It seems to be specifically like today's hits.
Right.
Stuff you hear on the radio all the time. Think Ice Spice, Imagine Dragons, Yeet artists that are really pushing the boundaries of music production.
So what about the music is causing this, do they think?
Well, the study's suggesting that it might be things like the heavy use of autotune,
Okay.
those super digitally enhanced harmonics,
Right.
and just the fact that a lot of popular music is very repetitive.
Right.
So it could be creating a kind of sensory overload in our brains.
Makes sense. So how did they even study this?
Well, they had 150 participants in the study,
Okay.
exposed them to all different kinds of music genres and artists, but all while they were hooked up to these brain scanners,
Oh, wow.
monitoring their brain activity and responses.
And what did they find?
I mean, the findings are pretty crazy.
I bet.
One of the most common things they found was this weird phenomenon where people were tasting things
Tasting things.
while listening to hyperpop.
Really?
A full 67% of the participants said they tasted something like a synthetic strawberry flavor.
Synthetic strawberry.
I know, it's very specific, right?
It's so
Almost like there's some secret ingredient hidden in the tracks.
Right.
But researchers are thinking it's the frequencies from the autotune
Yeah, okay.
and how they're combined with these other digitally processed sounds.
So our brains just haven't really evolved to hear this kind of stuff yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's like our brains are getting tricked,
Huh.
making us think we're tasting something that's not actually there.
So the sound is bypassing our normal, auditory processes.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
It's going straight to other sensory centers.
Wow. So is it just hyperpop or?
Well, they found other stuff too, like trap music,
Uh-huh.
with those deep 808 beats
Yeah.
that triggered a whole other set of hallucinations.
Really? Like what?
43% of the participants said they smelled this dry, metallic scent.
They smelled metal.
Yeah, but it wasn't really there.
Yeah.
It was a total phantom smell.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, and that was just the average reaction.
Uh-huh.
They also had some people who had these totally bizarre experiences.
Oh, like what?
Well, there was one person who saw these flashes of neon text.
They saw words.
Yeah, flashes of neon text while listening to a sped up Yeet track.
How is that even possible?
Well, I guess it just goes to show you how differently our brains are wired.
Right?
We all have these unique neural pathways, so these sonic triggers can show up in all kinds of ways.
Oh, so it's not just about the music then. It's also about us and how we're wired.
Exactly.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, and that's kind of what makes this research so groundbreaking. It's revealing this whole other layer of complexity in how our brains work.
And how they interact with music.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like music isn't just something we enjoy anymore.
Yeah.
It can actually change our reality.
Pretty much. And this is just the beginning. I mean, think of the implications.
Yeah, like for music production.
Exactly.
And like the legal and ethical side of things.
It raises so many questions.
It really does.
Huh.
But we've only just started to explore this world of sonic hallucinations.
That's for sure.
We'll be right back after this break.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so we've heard some pretty wild examples. But what about, those sounds you hear everywhere these days?
Like on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. Like those repetitive loops. Could they be messing with our brains too?
That's a great question. And it's something researchers are looking into.
Oh.
And yeah, the findings are super interesting.
I mean, those sounds get stuck in my head all the time.
Oh, tell me about it.
But seriously, could they actually be changing our brains somehow?
Well, the study suggests that, yeah, they could be. The
Yeah.
way those loops repeat over and over and how they're often paired with, specific visuals on TikTok,
Right.
it could be creating these like new pathways in our brains.
Like new connections.
Yeah, leading to these like weird associations.
Okay, so like if I keep hearing that it's corn sound and it always has a video of a cat, my brain might start thinking of cats when I hear it.
Exactly. It's like a kind of sonic conditioning.
So my brain is being trained to connect a sound with something, even if it doesn't make sense.
Pretty much. Your brain starts to link a sound with a feeling or an image, even if there's no logical connection.
It's kind of creepy, but also really cool.
It is. And the thing is with TikTok, you're constantly hearing those sounds.
Yeah, you're right. It's designed to keep you scrolling.
Exactly. It's like rapid fire content, and you're bombarded with these loops.
So it's like subliminal messaging almost.
Kind of. It's happening below the surface, and that's what makes it so interesting.
Right, because we don't even know it's happening.
Yeah. And, earlier we were talking about those more extreme examples.
Yeah, like the metallic smells and stuff.
Right. But the study also found some like very specific taste associations.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did that taste test thing?
Yeah, the sonic taste test.
Where they gave people those flavorless capsules to chew on.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Like a blind taste test, but for your ears.
And wasn't it Ice Spice that really stood out?
Oh, yeah, with Munch.
What did they find?
Like, almost 90% of the people said they tasted artificial peach.
While chewing a flavorless thing.
I know, it's wild, right? It was like this very specific aftertaste.
That's so weird. You'd think it would be like a basic taste.
Like sweet or sour.
Yeah, exactly. Not like a specific flavor.
I know, but that's what makes it so interesting. It's like there's something about those specific frequencies in that song, the way it's produced, that actually triggers that taste response in the brain.
So it's not just about the music being loud or anything?
No, it's way more complex than that.
So certain sounds can actually like mimic tastes.
On a neurological level, it seems like it.
That's incredible. Didn't they also find something with Doja Cat?
Oh, yeah. With her music, people were reporting a tactile response.
Tactile. So like touch.
Yeah, like 21% of the people said they felt this warmth on their fingertips.
Just from listening to Doja Cat.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Like they were holding something fuzzy or something.
What is it about her music?
Well, they think it might be those high-pitched vocals
Uh-huh.
and the way the harmonies are layered.
So it's triggering the part of the brain that senses touch.
And temperature? It seems like it.
Wow. It makes you wonder what else is hidden in the music we listen to.
Right. Like what other sensory surprises are waiting for us?
Exactly. And if this is just the beginning,
Uh-huh.
imagine what we'll discover next.
I know. This
Yeah.
is really groundbreaking stuff.
It really is. Because it shows how powerful sound can be.
And how much we still don't know about how our brains work.
It's like we're entering this whole new era
Where the lines between everything are blurred.
between what we hear and taste and see.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And a little bit scary.
Yeah. But mostly amazing, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's really pretty amazing to think about all this. Like we've been talking about Neurosonic Hallucination Syndrome, and it's not just some, passing trend. It's like a whole new thing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this study is a total game changer. It's like throwing everything we thought we knew about music out the window.
Yeah. I mean, for like centuries, people thought music was something you just hear, right? Something that makes you feel happy or sad or whatever.
Yeah. Brings back memories.
But now it's like music can do so much more than that.
It really can. It's about how sound can actually change how we see the world around us.
And how it can make us like taste and smell and even see things that aren't there.
It's wild.
It's crazy. It's like instead of just listening to a song, you're like stepping into a whole other world.
That's a good way to put it.
A world that's made of sound.
And imagine, like, in the future, composers are going to be making music not just for our ears, but for our taste buds and, like, our sense of touch.
Whoa. Yeah, like concerts could be these totally immersive sensory experiences.
Exactly.
That'd be so cool. Like you walk into a concert hall and the music is like washing over you. But it's not just sound. It's like tastes and smells and even like visions.
Like stepping into a dream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would be mind-blowing.
Totally.
But with all this potential comes all these, questions and challenges.
Oh, for sure.
Like, how do we even make sure this technology is used in a good way?
That's the big question, right? Like, what if it gets into the wrong hands?
Yeah. And what about the artists? Should they have to tell people if their music is going to make them hallucinate?
Right? Like, do they need to put warning labels on their songs or something?
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole new set of legal and ethical issues.
It really is. And no one has any answers yet.
But one thing's for sure, this study is just the tip of the iceberg.
Uh-huh.
There's so much more to learn about sound and how it affects our brains.
Absolutely.
So what does all this mean for you, the listener? Well, next time you put on your headphones, maybe listen a little differently.
Yeah. Pay attention.
See if the music makes you taste anything or smell anything.
Or if you see anything weird,
Yeah, you might be experiencing neurosonic hallucination syndrome.
it could be happening to you right now.
The future of music is multisensory, and it's already here.
So get ready.
Because the way we experience music is about to change forever.